to be able to compete on a level playing field, we've had to use existing technology to create a set of hand controls that allow us to race on a level playing field. So if you imagine you're going to chicane at 150 miles an hour, our disabled drivers have to be able to go through the chicane at the same speed as an able-bodied driver. That means braking, steering, gear down, on the throttle, off the throttle, on the brake. Now, if we keep losing half a second or a few tenths of a second at every chicane, we might be the best driver on the track, but we can't be competitive. So that was the criteria that I gave the engineers, that if we can't do that, then we can't go racing. Al Locke he's the brains behind our team. He's our race engineer. I tell him what I want and how I want it. He said it's not possible, and I know it's possible because I believe in Al. The cost of the hand controls varies from about £5,000 to about £7,500. That's because we've managed to find a manufacturer in Slovenia that does all this specialist engineering.
So that's fingertip control of every function of the car without the need for pedals, so they can drive them out and just go ahead and test something competitive.
None of this would be possible without Al's British engineering.
The main thing that inspires me to keep going with Team BRIT is the quest for constant improvement. You know, we've developed a set of hand controls, and we're not a team that's going to rest on their laurels. We're constantly pushing for better and faster developments.
Einen herzlichen guten Nachmittag und willkommen bei der eTeam BRIT Summer Series. Welcome everybody to the Nürburgring for the Texaco Round 7 of the Summer Series with myself, Alex Goldschmidt. A bit of German introduction, as I felt it had to be well warranted. We're underway with free practice of what has been an exciting series so far. 6 different winners, 6 different races. Could it be lucky number 7 here this very afternoon? Could we equal Formula One's tally from 2012? Well, we might find out a little bit later on in a couple of hours. Got some exciting developments to tell you about a little bit later on in free practice. we are looking to actually open up the entries for a new GT3 and BMW series, which we'll talk about with a couple of people that have been involved behind the scenes along with myself. But so far, it's been a very, very interesting series so far, and we're looking forward to seeing what happens this week and also next week at our Laguna Seca series finale on May 22nd. So far, the winners have been Martin Plowman, Alex Toth-Jones, Ben Warren, Bobby Trundley, Darren King, and then last week at Monza, Josh Martin. But enough of me talking about what happened in Monza. Let's have a look at the highlights of what was a fantastic 1 hour of racing at the Temple of Speed.
We go, lights are green, we are racing here at Monza, and it's going to be interesting going to the Variante di Rettafiglio for the first time. Darren King's got the inside line on Josh Martin, who's going to come out of the first corner first. Things run wide, there's a Bentley on the outside of the Mercedes heading to Curva Grande. That could be Aidan Bro that's got past Darren King through turn 3. As Martin goes off. Grant Lyman definitely in the thick of things, and that is John Munro actually alongside his Scottish compatriot under the bridge heading towards the Ascari chicane. Christie will have the inside line on Munro. You can see how much commitment from Josh Martin as he absolutely wallops the curbs in the entrance and the exit. To about third gear, 140 kilometres an hour, wrestling with the back end of the car. All that steps out, that allows Max Spooner to close up through the Variante Ascari. But it will all change as we are fractions of time away as John Munro goes side by side with Luke Pound for P8, heading into the Ascari chicane, and late brakes takes the position from the Aston Martin heading into the approach. So it's the Volkswagen Group against Mercedes, as Bentley is one of those multiple marks being represented, as Ben Warren goes towards the outside of Curva Grande on John Munro, heading towards the Variante della Roggia. He's trying to outbrake him, but he can't do it. Munro on the anchors like an absolute champ. Oh, if you wanted an exciting battle for the lower part of the top 10, you've got it right now. Johnny pulls out of the toe. He's going to try the late braking opportunity to Daniel Ricciardo, lick the stamp and send it on the inside of Ben Warren. He makes the move for P8 and stops it in time, does Bobby Trundley. And there it is, there's the gap. It's been absolutely truncated. Darren King wants to make it 2 for 2. He rounds the final corner, and here in the eTeam BRIT Summer Series, it's 6 different winners from 6 different races, as Josh Martin takes the checkered flag to win here in Italy.
4 minutes of drama compacted down from 60 minutes, and what a way to see out how things are going so far. We're about near the halfway point of practice here as we're with Freddie Hunt in the Audi R8 LMS Evo, the 2019 generation, so the facelift version of the road car, which was developed alongside the car, and it's the customer's team is based in Neuburg and Donau. I've actually been to the outskirts of the facility back in 2018. Very impressive facility, but you can't actually get on site. We've got other drivers making their way through what looks to be, I think, the Schumacher S's, originally known as the Audi S's, which Freddie is probably muscling his way through, coming out of it at around 200 kilometers an hour in fourth gear before going to the left at Kumo. Yellow flags out there very, very briefly, but nicely composed there by Freddie Hunt, son of 1976 Formula One world champion with McLaren, James. There are some prizes up for grabs. A big thank you firstly to Texaco and also DAF. Texaco are helping us with the Hot Lap initiative, where the top 3 fastest times during the 60-minute race will get the opportunity to choose from a collection on the official jameshunt.com website, where they can pick out a cap, a polo shirt, which looks to be the Zandvoort one, which is very, very nice. I'd love to grab one of those for myself, if I'm completely honest, and also some of the polo t-shirts that are available. They will also win VIP hospitality passes for Team BRIT's future races when the pandemic is over. Also, DAF is helping us with the driver of the day. So when we go racing at around 4 o'clock this afternoon, we will have a possibility that where you can actually vote for the DAF driver of the day. They'll get a goodie bag with collectibles and some DAF merchandise, but we will open that up later on with regards to the voting. So we'll actually open that up a little bit earlier than last time. We'll give you the details, which will be you can email at eTeamBrit at teambrit.co.uk. I know that's a bit of a mouthful at this time in the afternoon on a Friday, but we had John Monroe last time out at Monza, Bobby Trundley at Suzuka, who's going to be this time at the Nürburgring. But before we get on to this really, really big announcement, Rashid Kazim, who's actually switched to the Bentley this time around, is ahead of Jaroslav Honzik, also known as Jardier on YouTube. So he joins us. Tobin Lee, spoke with him a bit. We go on board. So very shortly, I think, as we've got Rashid Kazim in shot, looks to be behind, that is one of the Astons. We'll head to the Vasaro onboard in a very different bit of machinery with Rashid Kazim. We go on board with V Racers Rashid Kazim in the Mercedes-AMG GT3 here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit, heading towards the first corner. Down from 240 kph in 6th, all the way down to first gear, all the way down through the gearbox to around 75 k's, slowest corner on the circuit. Through the left at turn 2, second gear, 120 kilometers an hour. Now we head towards the Mercedes Arena. This will be parts of turns 3 and 4. So it'll be anywhere from, start from third gear, 160 kilometers an hour, down to second at 95 kph. Now Rashid accelerates out of turn 4, now heads down towards turn 5. He's going to brake from around about, I'll probably say about 75 meters out from fourth gear, 270 kph, takes the apex at 145 kilometers an hour in third. Drops down to second, 100 kilometers an hour for fourth, which is turn 6, and now the short blast down, accelerating all the way to what will be fifth gear, and he'll brake at around 220 kilometers an hour, down to second, 95 kph through the Dunlop hairpin. And now he'll come through the apex, run a little bit wide, make the approach towards the Schumacher S's. Fourth gear is the entry gear that we'll have here at 185 kilometers an hour. He keeps it planted all the way through, foot to the floor, exits out at 195 kilometers an hour. Now it's the blast down to Kumo, turn 10. 125 meters out, it brakes from fifth gear, 220 k's, down to second, 130 kph. Keeps around the same speed through the right-hander at turn 11, but now powers out of the corner, third gear. 7,000 RPM, fourth gear. Now he's going to go through Advan at fifth gear, 220 kilometers an hour on the approach towards the NGK chicane, and we'll keep accelerating. Brakes from around 100 meters out, sixth gear down to third, 240 to 140 kilometers an hour. Through the left-right, now through Coca-Cola, the final corner, second gear, 100 kph, puts the foot to the floor, and he will set a 1 minute 57.6 here on the Vasaro onboard. A big thank you to Simply Race for, again, hosting the broadcast. But before we get on to our major announcement, which we've been touting on social media over the last few days, is that the Nürburgring initially started construction back in 1925 and was completed in 1927. The current circuit that we're on at the moment, what they call the Großpreisstrecke, GP circuit, is 5.148 kilometres in length. That's 3.119 miles. And the race lap record is held by a Schumacher, not Michael, it's Ralph. It's actually Michael, back in 2004 with the F2000 for that particular year, where he was very, very dominant indeed, a 1 minute 29.4. So the GT cars aren't that far off. There's been a lot of changes, obviously. The Nordschleife hosts the ADAC 24 Hours of Nürburgring every year. The GP circuit hosts DTM, ADAC GT Masters, TCR Germany. Formula 4 is hosted the German Grand Prix, last time out in July 2013. The European Grand Prix, and also at the Nordschleife has hosted FIA WTCC and also TCR. Now we get on to the next bit of news before we have a little bit of run-through practice before we go into qualification for the Corsa Pole Position Award. So we will need 2 people to assist with it, and for very, very good reason. But I'll start things off here. So we will be speaking to both Max Spooner and David Christie very, very shortly. We are now unveiling the eTeam BRIT GT3 Challenge, and also along with that a support category, the Cinetic BMW Series. It's going to start on the 12th of June. It's an 8-week series over 9 race weeks. We're going to be broadcasting with Simply Race once again. I will be back as lead commentator, but my co-commentator will be David Christie from Canberra Media. Pleased to welcome him on board for the commentary team. There's been a lot of hard work behind the scenes with myself and Max Spooner involved. We will use the same format here as well. So it will be 30 minutes free practice, 30 minutes qualification, an hour race-long distance, and it will be a mandatory 30-second pit stop. The window will be exactly the same for the pit stops, 20 minutes after green lights and 20 minutes before the checkered flag. Rounds 1 to 4 will be, and 6 to 8 will be standard format. However, round 5 will be a double points round. The race duration won't change. Qualifying will be in the daytime, but we'll have daylight start and nighttime finish. The eTeam BRIT GT3 Challenge and the Cinetic BMW Series will run on the R Factor 2 platform. We'll have capped in at a maximum of 36 drivers for the GT3 Challenge. We are also welcoming 2 car teams along with that as well. Once drivers choose their GT3 cars, you are locked in it for the season. Custom liveries using a bespoke template can be provided. Numbers are on a first-come, first-served basis. We're going to use the IMSA scoring point system for the driver's title, along with a point for pole position and a point for fastest lap. The latter you have to finish or be classified, covering a minimum of 75% race distance. The champion of the GT3 Challenge will win a Team BRIT Academy Test Day in the brand newly acquired, via Cinetic of course, the BMW M240i. And that will be at a location of your top choice. The team's championship, 2 cars allowed per team. The top scoring car in each race will score for the team's title. More information on that to come in due course. Cinetic BMW Series will run it alongside the GT3 Challenge in the same race format at the same time. Numbers first come, first served. There will be a custom livery on all cars being provided. Just get to choose your colour. Points will start from 14 with the win, down to 1 point for 14, so everyone scores. The champion will win a Team BRIT Academy Day, but in the BMW 1 Series. Location to be at the choice of the individual. The champion will not defend their title because they'll get promoted to the GT3 Challenge automatically for the next campaign, and we are building more than just one season in prospect. Calendar to be confirmed, and more to come onto that. So I would like to now officially invite, if our stream director would be able to do that for us, David Christie and Max Spooner, if we can. They have been given the heads up on this. So firstly, Max Spooner, BRIT team manager, the announcement is now official.
Oh, thank God for that. It's been very difficult to keep it quiet, hasn't it? We've yeah, as you said, we've been working really hard putting this together, and I think we're really stepping up from what we've been doing with the Summer Series now. With the move to R Factor 2 as well, you know, we're gonna have a teams championship, so you know, we can have drivers representing their real life teams, their esport teams, which I think will add a really interesting dynamic to the racing. But yeah, I really can't wait to really, you know, get all the other announcements out, you know, finalise that calendar and get racing.
Definitely. Also, for the winners of the GT3 Challenge, each race winner will get a bottle of Copperfield London Dry Copper Gin for each race winner, for each race. They're worth about £45, which is a great little way of sort of bringing a new partner of us at eTeam BRIT for the GT3 Challenge. But Max, we've got some big plans for this. It's entry fee for £10 per race, £60 for a full advance sign up. So if they sign up for the full season, it's £60 instead of £80, which is great. So at least we can help those drivers have a little bit of a taster of what's to come here with us here at eTeam BRIT.
Yeah, and I think when you consider the racing we have had, you know, it's been very, very good racing up and down the field, and I think just having as I say, we're moving on to a new championship. The racing is going to be just as good. So, you know, I think, and as I say, you know, for £10 an event, you're going to get a good quality race with a high quality broadcast. We're going to have yourself and we're going to have David on board on commentary, massive exposure on social channels as well. So, yeah, no, I think people really ought to sign up quick, because I think, you know, I can see this being oversubscribed very quickly.
Yes, we've already got 4 entrants in total. I think 3 in the GT3 Challenge already, 1 in the Cinetic BMW Series. We will be running in the BMW Series with the 455 brake horsepower BMW M2. Is the right move. It's very comparable to the GT3 platform. So I think you know, the cars that we're going to see the Corvette, we're going to see the Bentley, both Audis, so R8 and R8 Evo, the Radical GX3 EcoBoost powered. So Team Fordzilla, come on down, come on. We need as many people as possible, and I'm so hoping we have some factory teams join us here at the GT3 Challenge.
Yeah, that would be really exciting if we can have them on board, and yeah, we've got a good mix of manufacturers in there. You know, we've got the Aston Martins as well, which the Team BRIT and eTeam BRIT guys will be running, and you know, you've seen the car, which I'm sure will put out to everybody else in due course. But I think the GT3 Team BRIT car, it just looks mega.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, Max. We'll let you to it. Good luck this afternoon, mate. The 4th.
There's so many different little bits of it that are we're going to be picking over in the next couple of weeks, Alex. But what a brilliant prize package as well. I mean, personally, I'm all in for that bottle of Copperfield London Dry Copper Gin. Can we possibly have that sent out to the commentators as well? You know, it's going to be a long couple of weeks.
Well, I think in that respect, I think my mum will be the one that will be trying to collar that off me. I think Max had a bit of a thing. Max and I had a talk about that and said, yeah, we're both of the same opinion. Both our mothers will be doing exactly the same thing. Oh, can I just have a little bit? Be like, no, under lock and key.
But I mean, as commentators, Alex, and in the esports world, we've been clamouring for a professional championship for quite a while, and this hits every single checkbox. It's affordable, it's easy to get involved with, and I think it offers a lot in for the professional drivers as well as those who are maybe want to take their first steps into esports.
Definitely, I couldn't agree with you more there, David. Well, I'm going to leave you to it because you've got a race to do this afternoon.
Oh, forgot about that.
Well, all the very best of luck, mate, and thanks for joining me in the commentary box.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you.
Well, a big thank you to both Max and David for talking to me about the brand new eTeam BRIT GT3 Challenge and Cinetic BMW Series. The entries are now officially open. We've given it a little bit of an advance to obviously all our competitors here at the minute. So please feel free to go to @eteambrit.co.uk. You can also email us at eteambrit@teambrit.co.uk. We will send you the entry form. You will need to get yourselves paid up. If you want a custom livery, that can be provided, but there will be a template issued. And also the Cinetic BMW Series. So we want to cater for both categories, those with experience and those that want to get into esports. So we're coming into the last 60 seconds of practice here at the Nürburgring. 3.199 miles, 5.146 kilometers. And I definitely see quite a big grid. We are very, very packed here.
That guy.
As that's Tobin Lee briefly going for a spin there, nicely caught by our stream director. Tobin is currently running P6 at the moment. He is in the Porsche, and there's Dean Robertson. He's in the Lamborghini. As Al Locke, our main race engineer for Team BRIT, will be again under race director duties. So he will be looking at any incidents that do transpire throughout both qualifying and also the race. So the session is now completed here for free practice in the penultimate round of the 2020 eTeam BRIT Summer Series for Texaco Round 7. As there's Freddie Hunt on the right-hand side of your screens, running in the number 56. Now I'm just I'm trying to look at the back end of that car and try and figure it out. And he is running in the Audi. So Freddie was running in the Mercedes at Monza last time out. He ran in the Aston back at Suzuka, and he's now changed to Ingolstadt's finest. The Audi R8 LMS Evo GT3. And Audi has had plenty of success in the custom racing world, as has the likes of Porsche, Bentley, Mercedes. So we are now underway with 30 minutes of qualification to decide the grid for Texaco Round 7 of the 2020 eTeam BRIT Summer Series here at the Nürburgring in the Eifel region in Germany. So Dave Hedges is one of the first cars to go out. And there's going to be... So Bobby Trundley has gone back to the tried and trusted razor-sharp weapon of the Audi that he used back at Suzuka. And I think pulled off one of the most daring overtakes around the outside of 130R back at Texaco Round 5, which in some respects actually resulted in becoming the driver of the day for that particular race meeting. For those wondering, where can you watch us? We're on Twitch at twitch.tv/eTeam BRIT. We're also on the Simply Race YouTube, Facebook and Periscope channels. We're also on the Let's Race Facebook page and on the Team BRIT Facebook page. So quite a wealth of different manufacturers. Porsche, along with that, McLaren. So Anthony Hobbs and Sandro Ballesteros judging, going to Woking's very best. As you might notice, position 30. And that is right, ladies and gentlemen. We've kept this one under our hats. 4-time British Touring Car Championship winner Colin Turkington. The reigning defending champion is here with us this very afternoon. So 30 drivers, our biggest grid so far. And with the man that has equalled Andy Rouse's record of 4 titles in the BTCC, decides to have a bit of fun with us. And there it is in the number 57 in the Assetto Racing livery. As Freddie Hunt running P10 at the number 56 Audi at the moment, just behind eTeam BRIT team manager Max Spooner. Andy Tucker from Team BRIT is top of the timesheets in the 67 Audi, ahead of the number 15 Bentley of Rashid Kazim. On screen is Ross McGregor, who was working with in the Simply Race number 23 GTR 24-hour race just this past week. I had a quick chat with John Munro, who's currently running in P7 behind Ross in the number 25 Bentley. So at the moment, Trundy makes it 2 Audis in the top 3. Dave Hedges makes it 3 in the top 5 as Tobin Lee, who told me what car he was switching to, and I'm not at all surprised he's gone for the Porsche, the 911 GT3R, which has been a bit of a successful beast, as Anthony Hobbs is running in the 720S GT3. He's currently running in P12 in qualifying. There's David Christie. He's switched from Munich and gone to Crewe. Has the Scott, our newly announced GT3 Challenge and Cinetic BMW Series co-commentator. He's running in the Team M Sport number 9 Bentley. There's Sandro Ballesteros. Just 12 years of age is Sandro, and he's a very proficient karter. I've seen him in action. He's a very good young man. There's Daniel Hyde in the Aston. Bobby Trundy in the Jade green, I would say. Well, that's turquoise blue or teal blue or whatever you want to call it. There's so many different superlatives you can throw at that particular colour. So he's running in the number 23 Audi. So Will Daniels, who looks to be one of the newer drivers that have joined us, he's currently down in P16. He's in the pits at the moment in the number 10 Bentley. As we are around about 4 minutes down in the 30-minute qualification session. Daniel Hyde in the Cadillac Casual Apex Aston Martin Vantage V8 GT3. Running down in 27. I like how some people have been able to provide their own team names for this. It's quite entertaining when you had the likes of Grant Lyman from Simply Race. He was using Sebastian Kettle Racing. Of course, there's been a lot of news in the Formula One world, obviously, with Daniel Ricciardo moving from Renault to McLaren, Vettel leaving Ferrari, and Carlos Sainz Jr. now replacing him. And now everyone's wondering who's going to go to Renault. So on the left-hand side of your screen, you've got Andy Tucker, and one of the Team BRIT drivers. Really good interview from him through Is It Fast. Also, you might want to check out a particular podcast that is going to be live with Freddie Hunt this coming Wednesday. A big thank you to Tim Sylvie and Harry Benjamin from Motormouth, who recently talked to Freddie, and they have talked about Team BRIT. Obviously, Freddie's foray into esports with us, as we've got one of our new drivers in the 666 Bentley, Mark Neutling. So very much a big field. Make that 31 drivers with Max Coates. So we've got 24 minutes and 30 seconds. Still to run. Top 10 is split by about 5.8 seconds. So Bowman in the Porsche is running at the top 10. So it's Ross McGregor on a 1 minute 54.6. Then it's Dave Hedges running at the top 2. Then John Munro, Darren King from Team Fordzilla, Rashid Kazim, Luke Pound, Alex Toth-Jones. As Darren King now goes top, 1 minute 54.537, and he has stuck with the Mercedes. It's been a good car for him over the last 2 rounds. First, just okay. That's so. Just apologies with my mic at the minute. There seems to be a couple of problems which I'll just sort out on the fly. So I'm just going to. So hopefully that should be a little bit better. So a little increase on the volume there. Hopefully that won't be the case. I do remember looking back at the highlights that I went. I had to cut out the audio when I went about Bobby Trundy going off at Monza. But hopefully the good thing is that we will have plenty of action here at the Nürburgring. 3.199 miles. Steeped in tradition, the GP circuit that we are currently on was actually extended after the initial version of the circuit, which was brought around in 1984 all the way through to 2001. And it was extended from 4.556 kilometres up to the current length. So there has been plenty of GT3 action in the likes of the ADAC GT Masters, which has seen a lot of people competing there. Timo Scheider, Timo Bernhard, amongst other high-profile drivers. You've got youngsters such as Gary Schreiner and also Dennis Marshall, who are currently with Rutronic Racing in the R8. They are currently in the GT Masters, ADAC GT Masters field. And the Nürburgring is also home to the Torhostfahrt, where basically you can go around the circuit, the full 20.8 kilometre circuit, like it's a toll road. And people do go very, very quickly. There's been quite a lot of viral YouTube videos where people's road cars have come off somewhat second best. But at least for us here, using the Assetto Corsa Competizione package, we are using just the Grand Prix Circuit loop. So on the left-hand side, you've got Rashid Kazim in the 15 Bentley. On the right-hand side of your screen, the number 88 of Dave Hedges in the SimSport Racing Audi R8 Evo LMS. So Kazim running at the top 4 is on the left-hand side. You've got Ross McGregor, P6 at the moment, about a second off of Jaroslav Honzik, aka a very, very famous, well, in some respects, very well known within the YouTube streaming community, Jardier. And there was a very, very funny message. He said, "I need to catch up with my Scottish brothers from Czechia." And like everyone was just like, right, we know who we're dealing with. And there was a bit of banter in that chat, and that was quite entertaining, to be honest with you. There's Aidan Bro on the left-hand side, our third-place finisher from Monza last time out. Gave Darren King the frighteners a little bit, going around Curva Grande for the first time, as you saw back in the highlights. Really nice chat. Really having an opportunity, and he's relishing the chance of who he's racing against here today. So at the moment, it's Honzik from Martin, Munro, Lee, Kazim, King, McGregor, Hedges, Trundley, and Bro. That rounds out the top 10, all separated by 1.311 seconds. Then it's Luke Pound from Team BRIT, followed by fellow Team BRIT driver Andy Tucker, Ben Warren, P13, Alex Toth-Jones is rounding out the top 16 positions, as there have been a few changes. So Josh Martin now running in a Bentley. So we had a chat with him on the Cinetic preview show for Texaco Round 7 just yesterday evening. A big thank you to Josh, David, Aidan, and also Max Spooner for joining me as the guest. We will have another one, as on the right-hand side we have an inboard cockpit shot for Sandro Ballesteros, who is also on the left-hand side of your screen, up to second, now third. He's heading down towards what looks to be Dunlop, I believe. As on the left-hand side, we've got Bradley Brockes, one of the newest recruits to the eTeam BRIT. He's currently being assessed, so he's decided to give it a go. He's only just joined, but we're looking forward to seeing how he gets on in the 89 Mercedes here this very afternoon. So the top 22, that is from our provisional pole sitter, as we've got just over 19 minutes and 20 seconds to go, is 5.559 seconds. But it's very close between the top 12 drivers, 1.686. And we've got Harry Spears with us. I think he's also part of the Team Fordzilla crew, I think. I'm sure that I will be corrected, possibly. But in many respects, we're going to find out what's going to happen. Dale Bowman in the 21 Porsche on the left-hand side of your screen. There's Darren King on the right in the 38 Fordzilla Mercedes AMG GT3 with Fanatec emblazoned on his rear wing. And I've talked with Josh, Aidan, David, and also Max about the characteristics. You know, we go to a very different circuit, but one of the biggest key points that when Aidan spoke to me, he said, I'm not too sure if I'm going to stick with the Bentley, but it's a car that I know very well when ACC came out on early access. And he stuck with the Bentley, sticking with what he knows, which is a good thing, because, I mean, even though he's 1.3 seconds off provisional pole position, he's still going to have an opportunity in the race. There's Josh Spencer on the left-hand side, now running in the number 4 Audi E27. So we are waiting for some drivers to set respective lap times to put them in qualification. John Munro on the right-hand side on the very, very brightly coloured 25 Bentley is Josh Spencer. goes off the circuit, and that looks to be, I believe, towards past turn 6, which is the Ford corner, and then he's going to head towards Dunlop. David Christie running P19 at the minute. He's hopeful of a top 10 finish this time out at the Nürburgring. Anthony Hobbs running in 22nd in the McLaren 720S GT3. He's now going through turn 6. It's Josh Spencer again, more than exploring track limits, I think. So there's Max Coates. He's switched from the RR Motorsport Aston to the number 12 Bentley. And drivers still trying to set a lap time. Some are going to leave it right until the dying few moments, as Freddie Hunt is now out on the circuit. Going through turn 11, now he's going to accelerate, and this is where the commitment really comes in, going through the right-hand kink at Advan, turn 12. Fifth gear, 230 kilometres an hour. He's going to probably break from around 100 k's. Yeah, 100 kilometres. That was around about... That's pretty good braking there, pretty good commitment from Freddie. Let's see if he sets a really good lap time here in the Audi. Or the rear end fishtails a little bit coming out of the Coca-Cola curve, and he crosses the line. Now, where does that put him? That might have just been an outlap from Freddie, so he's getting the tyres up to temperature. Almost halfway through the session thus far. So at the minute, Daniels, Hunt, Turkington and Coates, the only 4 not yet to set a respective lap time, as an Audi pulls to the right-hand side through the Haug Hack, named after Norbert Haug, who was the head of Mercedes-AMG Motorsport before Toto Wolff took over. So Norbert, very much an instrumental part of the folklore within Mercedes-AMG Motorsport's history through the early days of HWA and the DTM back in the 90s. And still is very much a familiar face in the paddock. I had the pleasure of seeing him in the paddock a couple of times through my travels in DTM. So Freddie now comes through the turn 7 hairpin at Dunlop. As Bobby Trundley making his way through into what is turn 11. And Bobby's running P9 at the moment. Max Spooner also switches to the Audi. Ben Warren switches to the Aston from the Mercedes. David Christie now makes his way out of pit lane. Looking to improve on P20 in the number 9 Bentley. As Ben Warren getting a little bit of a slipstream from, I think that's a Ferrari up ahead, or possibly the Lamborghini. Looks to be the Lamborghini of Robertson. And that's Dean Robertson, who's the number 1 mechanic at Team BRIT. There's Ben Warren from Simability Racing Team, as Robertson has to go a bit avoidance there, as Christie now is on his outlap in qualifying. There's Tobin Lee on the left-hand side of your screen, and here we are on board. So he's got a low fuel alarm, as you can see. Predicted time of around about a 1:54. His best so far is a 1:54.480, which is good enough for P6 out of the 31 strong we've got. So our biggest grid so far here at the Summer Series. And Tobin is looking for a better result this time out. He did a pretty good job last time, and he's looking to improve once more. Big thank you for everyone tuning in here at the official live stream. A big thank you to Simply Race for jumping on board at the same time as I did for both commentary and for streaming and commentary respectively. And we are furthering that association with the new eTeam BRIT GT3 Challenge and Cinetic BMW Series. You'll be able to see some screenshots that have been worked on ahead of what's going to be coming. So we will give you some more details on our relevant social medias in the coming few days to help you guys guys and girls out involved. We do want teams getting involved as well. As you can see on the left-hand side of your screen, it's first come, first serve. £16 for the full season. Double points round at round 5. Daytime qualifying and a start tonight finish. And the winner of each race in the GT3 Challenge will get a bottle of Copperfield London Dry Gin for their troubles. So it won't be an eTeam BRIT t-shirt. Like 2 more people have the opportunity of winning this afternoon, and also this time next week at Laguna Seca, when we say our farewell, our swan song to the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. So Jaroslav Honzik still leads. Tobin Lee rounds out the top 2, separated by 0.35 of a second. Darren King is about half a second off of Honzik in the battle for the cash of pole position. Josh Martin, P4, Ross McGregor, John Munro, Aidan Bro, Rashid Kazim. And look at the amount of Bentleys from 4th to 8th position, the biggest represented manufacturer in the top 10, followed by Dave Hedges and Bobby Trundley. Luke Pound, and there's Harry Spears. Again, I thought that was right. So he's gone with a more of a turquoise blue as the number 11 in the Mercedes AMG GT3. There's Mark Neuterlings in the 666 Sim Sport Racing, Bentley Continental GT3. Max Spooner rounds out the top 19 ahead of Grant Lyman. There's David Christie. Still, he's about 4.7 seconds as he gets past Rashid Kazim, who lets him through, going through Advan, heading to the NGK chicane. There's Anthony Hobbs, 5.5 seconds off of our front runner, which is Jardier, aka Jaroslav Honzik, aka Jardier. I was watching some of his streams last night from now he's been racing with the likes of Jimmy Broadbent, amongst other people in relevant sort of community events that have been live streamed through the relevant YouTube and Twitch channels, which has been very, very entertaining. Language is a bit colourful on those streams from certain people, I must admit. As there is the Open Road Racing Porsche, number 21 of Dale Bowman. Currently P25, 6.8 seconds off of the pole time at the minute, as we come into the final third of 30 minutes of qualification. Dean Robertson off the track there. That is off of turn 6. So sorry about that, a little bit of clinking there. I've got 2 drinks on the go, one caffeinated, one non-caffeinated. I have to keep my eyes on stalks at the minute with what we're going to have with 31 drivers going into battle in just under 10 minutes' time. As Robertson now making his way over the crest after the Schumacher S's to the left at Kumo, turn 10, brakes down to 2nd gear. Around 130, drifts a little bit wide, 2 wheels on the curb area there. Through the left at 11, which previously was known as Warsteiner Corner. Yes, the beer. Nice beer as well, it is. There is David Christie, having to get out of the way of Rashid Kazim, who is looking to improve on time there. So Christie, he started P16 at Monza and finished P11, having a really good battle with Bobby Trunley, amongst others, and also Grant Lyman and fellow compatriot John Munro. So 28 qualifying lap times have been completed in terms of best efforts. Josh Spencer in the number 4 Audi rounds out the 28 strong. Will Daniels, Colin Turkington and Max Coates. I think they're probably going to be doing, as my good friend Henry Baudet would say, a top gear from the rear if they're going to start and have a bit of fun. Which is what the thing is. I mean, obviously with the BTCC season and the mini challenge season now sort of being the Renault Sport UK Clio Cup amongst other championships, British GT, they've all been postponed to later dates throughout the season. But obviously this is a way in which the drivers can keep themselves sharp. David Christie, if he can really get the handle on the Bentley, he could probably go up into the top 20. As we've got 8 minutes on the clock remaining, still to go in this session. So it's Texaco round 7 of the 2020 eTeam BRIT Summer Series. So the winner of this race Could it be 7 from 7? We're going to find out in just over an hour's time if that is the case, and we will equal what Formula One did in 2012 before Fernando Alonso became the first double race winner that year at the European Grand Prix at the now unfortunately abandoned and very, very derelict Valencia Grand Prix circuit. So just behind David Christie looks to be, that is Darren King. So David runs wide and runs into the kitty litter. At least he's got his wits about them, because on the Assetto Corsa Competizione software that they're running, they will have radars. So at least they'll have a way of being told. They'll be given blue flag warnings on the instrument clusters. So they'll be running from a cockpit perspective. So they'll be inside the cockpit, showing the dash display. And it has been ultra competitive. I know for a fact that I will get notifications of any drive-through penalties, any stop goes, as race director Al Locke, our Team BRIT race engineer, and some of the man behind the fantastic hand controls that we use, both not just in the racing world, but also in the sim racing world. You can head to teambrit.co.uk, find out more information about that. The technology has also been inspected by the head of technical at Aston Martin ProDrive. And if that is not an endorsement, a big enough endorsement, I don't know what is. So please feel free to, if you want to contact Al about something, depending on your disability, please get in touch. Email him at al@teambrit.co.uk for further information, and let's see if we can work out a package from yourself. Very great equipment. It's used in the Academy cars and also in our Fun Cup, and also Aston Martin GT4 race car as well. We're coming to the last 5 and a bit minutes of this qualification session, so let's see if we can have a look at who is on. I think it could be still Jardier, aka Jaroslav Honzik, who is in provisional pole position for this 1 hour encounter here at the 3.199 mile circuit at the Nürburgring. I've actually visited the circuit as a fan of motorsport. Us commentators, we do start out as fans of racing, and in 2016 I had a bit of a road trip. I went from Zolder to Spa-Francorchamps to the Nürburgring, and then my destination that weekend was the Hockenheimring for the DTM season finale. And I went to the Nürburgring. I'd never been to the Green Hell before, and was just absolutely in awe. There were Porsche 911s going down the main straightaway heading towards the Torresfahrt, and you could hear the exhausts and the rasps. I mean, I saw McLarens, Audis, and at that particular time, I actually paid to go on the BMW M-Power Tribuna, which is the top part of the gantry overlooking the pit lane and start-finish line. And at that particular point, they had a load of road-going Audi R8 Evos, R8 road cars, as there's Darren King in the 38 Fordzilla. So Honzik still leads with 4 minutes and 17 seconds on the clock, 1 minute 53.619, and he's running in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Tobin Lee, P2, Darren King, P4, P3, and Ross McGregor, Josh Martin, rounding out the top 5, all separated by 0.672 of a second. John Monroe, Aidan Bro, Rashid Kazim, Dave Hedges, Bobby Trundley, they round out the top 10. Ben Warren in 11th, head of Luke Pound, Harry Spears. Then we've also got Taylor Lane, Alex Toth-Jones, rounding out the top 15. Still pretty close there between the top 15 out of 31 competitors. Just under 2.1 seconds. Then it's Andy Tucker, Freddie Hunt, Mark Neutelings, Max Spooner, Grant Lyman, David Christie, Sandro Ballesteros, and Daniel Hyde, rounding out the top 23. And there is the number 38 of Darren King. So just over 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. So Darren's now reset and gone back into the pit lane. So he'll have a chance at an outlap and then also a flying lap. So he'll have one more chance as Bobby Trundley pulls to the right-hand side of the start-finish straight. That's Ben Warren we're on board with from the Simability Racing team. Luke Pound one of the Team BRIT rookies. He's been quite successful in, and I like the fact that Jardier has gone with the orange one, FFF Corsa Racing Team as well. And I think that just seeing, so 28 drivers have sorted out a lap time, 8.454 seconds between the top 28 in qualification. But it's a very different side when you have an hour race to go, as we go on with Freddie Hunt in the 56 Assetto Racing Audi. So he's coming through the Haug Hack, through the Mercedes Arena, through into turn 3, taking that at around 95 kilometers an hour and using as much of the curbing on both the entry and the exit of turn 4. Now it's the pass down to the slight left-hander at, well, it's nigh on a 90-degree angle here at turn number 5. Down to forward in turn 6 on the anchors, down to second, 100 kph. The corner opens up, and then it's a slight kink, a bit like the Parabolica curve at the Hockenheim ring, which isn't too far away from the Nürburgring itself. And it's through Dunlop at turn 7. Hug the apex as much as you dare. Run a little bit wide now, going through into the Michael Schumacher S's. Fourth gear, 185 kph, and Freddie is absolutely keeping the foot planted to the floor as he wrestles with the back end slightly coming through the corner. Nice negotiation there on the run up to Kumo. Turn 10. He's going to go down to second gear, 130 kph before he goes to the right-hander at 11, and then it's going to be a lot of commitment heading down from turns 11 down into 12 at Advan. It's a slight right kink, taken at fifth gear at around 220 to 230 kilometers an hour. We're now into the final 60 seconds of qualifying here for Texaco round 7 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series at the Nürburgring. And Freddie, let's see what lap he's going to put in. He's coming out of the final corner. Best lap so far has been a 1:54. He's done a 1:56.3. So he's still 17th at the minute, but that puts him mid-pack. And yeah, I think he's... So we've got 20-odd seconds to go of the qualification session. And at the moment, we look to have had another different pole sitter here. So that will be Jardier, aka Jaroslav Honzik, in the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. And the timer is about to elapse. That is it for qualification. So the positions will be as follows. Jaroslav Honzik will be on pole position, so he takes the Kershaw Pole Position Award for round 7 in association with Texaco. Then it's Ross McGregor, Tobin Lee, Darren King, Josh Martin, John Monroe, Aidan Bro, Rashid Kazim, Dave Hedges and Bobby Trundley rounding out the top 10. Then it was Ben Warren, Harry Spears, Luke Pound, Taylor Lane, Alex Toth-Jones, Andy Tucker, Freddie Hunt, Mark Neutlings, Sandro Ballesteros, Daniel Hyde, Anthony Hobbs rounding out the top 20. And we do have 31 cars on this grid. So very much an exciting time as we have our biggest grid of the summer series so far. And we are very, very shortly getting underway with a 60-minute race to decide if we will have 7 from 7 this very afternoon. And if many people would say to me, well, how do you think this is going to transpire? We will find out very, very shortly as we head into battle at the Nürburgring for Texaco round 7. But just having a look back. We are about to get round 7 in association with Texaco underway here at the Nürburgring for the Summer Series. The top 12 rows are as follows. Jaroslav Honzik and Ross McGregor on the front row. Tobin Lee and Darren King, row 2. Josh Martin and John Monroe, row 3. Aidan Rowe, Rashid Kazim. Dave Hedges and Bobby Trunley ran out the top 10, followed by Ben Warren, Harry Spears, Luke Pound, Taylor Lane, Alex Toth-Jones, Andy Tucker, Freddie Hunt, Mark Neutelings, Max Spooner, Grant Lyman, David Christie, Sandro Ballesteros, Daniel Hyde and Andrew Hobbs. We are ready to go racing. The red lights are on the starting gantry here in the Eifel regions at the Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit for Texaco round 7 of the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. We go from red to green. The timer starts ticking down, and it's a great start from Jaroslav Honzik in the Lamborghini. McGregor just behind with Tobin Lee in the tow, heading to the first corner into the Hauk for the first time as Darren King runs around the outside. There's a couple of cars, 2 Astons. Oh, there's going to be carnage in the mid-pack. Carnage in the mid-pack. Multiple cars involved, including the 88 of Dave Hedges. There were 2 Astons that went off going into the Hauk, and there is also Dean Robertson. But Jaroslav Honzik in the FFF Team Lamborghini has gotten away from Ross McGregor. Well, it was Ross McGregor. Now it looks to be the Mercedes AMG of Darren King from Team Fortzilla, who sends one of the bollards flying, heading down into Ford for the first time. So already there has been a drive-through penalty issued, I believe, and that looks to be for the leader, maybe a jump start. I'll wait for race control to confirm that in due course. But the gap between Honzik and King now up to under 8.5 tenths of a second. As McGregor, Lee, there's Aidan Pro, as Robertson. Now Aidan Pro looks to be one of the Bentleys that was patted into going into the Hauk for the first time. 2 Astons definitely involved. As Will Daniels and Commentator, and there's been more drama. The 2 cars involved looks to be Mark Neutelings in the 666 Bentley and Andy Tucker in the 6. Yeah. So I've just seen, so Neutelings is coming up on the back bumper of Ballesteros. Tucker is about 5 car lengths behind, as he just absolutely sends it, goes into the back of Ballesteros, and Neutelings factors into the side of the Audi. Already race director Al Lock is going to have a lot of things. There's one of the cars tries to reverse onto the racing line as Aidan Rowe now resurging. He's got a bit of work to do as the AOR champion, 3 times the AOR champion, and also he qualified for the Mans Esports finale at the Mans
Invitational competition. So in many respects, he's up from 26th to 21st position. So I'm still waiting for any news on the drive-through that might have been put against Jaroslav Honzik. But I will get that in due course.
Yeah, as they just wanted me to go through the drive-through as automatics, it would have been for a jump start.
Okay, race director has just confirmed that it's an automatic drive-through as per the software on it. Corsa Competizione, so Honzik will have to pit within 3 laps of the drive-through being automatically issued. So that will put him on the back foot. As Sandro Ballesteros now up into P18, having started P22. Max Coates is all the way up into P17 in the number 12 Bentley. As there looks to be a move a little bit further behind. And that's Luke Pound, I think, being passed. Well, that's Sandro Ballesteros, who's got Ben Warren behind, and not far behind them is Aidan Bro. So Aidan Bro is making some headway. David Christie up to P14, having qualified P21. We're on with Max Coates now into the turn 10 curve at Kumho. There's Aidan Bro, just behind Luke Pound, I believe, or is that Ben Warren? So I'm just waiting for everything to adjust as they go through into the right-hander at Advan. Right, okay. I've just had some clarification. Racing incident. A big thank you to Al Lock for this, our race director. Chaos at the start was Toth-Jones touching the back of Luke Pound and bouncing off the barrier into the rest of the pack. No penalty, racing incident declared.
So Honzik is in the pits serving his drive-through penalty. There is Grant Lyman now up into P15 in the Sebastian Kettle Racing Aston Martin. Braking into turn 1. So they're braking from around about 240 kilometres an hour in 6th gear, all the way down the gearbox to 1st gear. Slowest corner on the circuit through the first part of the hack, through into the Mercedes arena. And John Munro looks to be making some headway as well. He started from P4, but he's now up into P6, sorry, and he's now up into P4. Bobby Trunley rounded out the top 10. He's now up into P6, as Honzik is battling away with Team Fordzilla's Harry Spears for 7th position. As Honzik now drops down quite considerably. He's dropped down all the way down to 13th position as Ross McGregor gets a bit of a tank slapper. Coming out of the Schumacher S's, that allows Tobin Lee to go past, as well as John Munro. So Ross McGregor, in the 24 Simply Race Zanshaw Bentley Continental GT3, loses 2 places as a result of a tank slapper from the back end through the Michael Schumacher S's. And just behind is Josh Martin. Let's have a look at the replay here. So he makes the commitment, he runs wide on the curbs. And then again, and the back rear wheel touches the gravel and sends him off the circuit. So that allows both Tobin Lee and Darren King, Tobin Lee and also John Munro to get past. So Darren King is now your leader. Tobin Lee is only 1.4 seconds behind. Then it's a further 1.3 back to John Munro. Ross McGregor and Josh Martin round out the top 6. Now, Josh Martin started P5. There is Darren King in the brightly coloured bluey purple Team Fordzilla car. And Tobin Lee comes into shot as they now make their way down to what is effectively Ford curve at turn 6. And then it's a short blast up to the hairpin at turn 7 for Dunlop. So we are about 13 and a quarter minutes away until the pit stop window opens. Each driver must have a mandatory 30-second pit stop. If it's too short a stop, they will have a 130-second penalty in terms of the total race time added to their score at the end of this race. So Darren King having a very, very good race at the moment, as Freddie Hunt is battling away with, I think that could be Alex Toth-Jones just up ahead. So Alex in the Toth-Jones runs wide and goes sideways through the corner, and that's through the S's, and Freddie Hunt now up into P10. As there's Bobby Trundley. He's got Harry Spears closing down on, and just look at this battle now. It's really coming alive, and that is with, let's just see, so just ahead of Bobby Trunley's John Munro. They were battling away both at Suzuka and at Monza. Josh Martin just ahead. Then you've got Ross McGregor. This is the battle for P3. And that's a gaggle of 5 cars. So really good showing from some of the drivers so far. Jaroslav Honzik all the way down now. Our pole sitter down in P14 ahead of Aidan Bro, who has made his way through the field so far. And he's been doing a really, really good job. So Aidan having the brunt of the accident on turn 1 on the very first lap. As Josh Martin hustling his way through what looks to be turn 4, being closely followed by John Munro, who is in the slipstream. But Martin gets the apex for the turn 5 left-hander into Ford at 6. And then it's going to be a blast down through into what is effectively now I've just been informed of a drive-through penalty being issued. Dean Robertson has been collected by Anthony Hobbs and has got a drive-through penalty for Hobbs, which is going to be served within the next 3 laps. As we're now on board with Josh Martin heading through the Schumacher S's. As Munro swarming all over the back bumper of the number 13 with Bobby Trundley as Spears runs wide.
through the corner and drops a little bit off the back bumper of Bobby Trundley that particular occasion. So he's lost a good 5 car lengths, I believe. So just about, I would say, 10 minutes and a bit away from our penultimate pit stop window of the Summer Series opening here at Texaco Round 7, taking place at the Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit. As Monroe looking to send it up the inside of Martin, thinks better off it that particular time, and Trundley tries to clobber his way through. Oh, and pitches Monroe into a spin off of turn 1. So Trundley has compromised not just himself, but also John Monroe, who gets passed around the outside through turn 2 by Rashid Kazim. And here's Taylor Lane, I believe, in the number 32 Bentley. Let's have a look at this. So here we are with Rashid Kazim coming down the start-finish straight. And there's Taylor Lane not too far behind. They go into the braking zone, and there is the aftermath of what happened. So Monroe was on the back bumper of Martin, and that has allowed Harry Spears to get ahead. There's Dean Robertson from Team BRIT going through Coca-Cola, the final corner here, rounding at the top 25. There's Taylor Lane, and he's being hassled by Rashid Kazim, who has got Bobby Trundley behind. There's a little bit of a clatter. So Kazim's hit Lane and collected Trundley in the process. This is a tight and technical circuit, and there are a couple of cars off the circuit a little bit further back through turn 1. So it's not been an easy one here at the Nürburgring. So we still have 27 cars, it looks like. Let's have a look at this replay. So Kazim goes to move up the inside of Taylor Lane, taps the right rear corner. Trundley has nowhere to go, trying to avoid Taylor Lane, and Kazim has to go towards the inside. So there's Ross McGregor rounding out the top 3, as Darren King now continues to lead ahead of Tobin Lee, who is closing. So the Porsche is closing on the Mercedes for the lead at the moment. There's Bradley Brockies in the ACA ASP Team AMG Mercedes, running the number 89. There's Dean Robertson. Max Spooner trying to close up on Alex Toth-Jones, but has Aidan Bro in the number 8 Bentley trying to close him down. So Bro has jumped back over the last 10 minutes or so, around about 12 places by my reckoning. So a good comeback from the driver from Stoke-on-Trent. John Monroe running out the top 6 at the minute. He's about 5.6 seconds behind Harry Spears. There's David Christie up to P16, just behind Simability Racing Team's Ben Warren in the Aston Martin. There's Josh Martin, who's got Team Fordzilla's Harry Spears in the number 11. Mercedes just behind. So we've got just over 7 minutes until the pit stop window opens, and that will open for 20 minutes, and will close 20 minutes before the checkered flag. Jaroslav Honzik, in the meantime, has moved up to P11 in the number 20 Lamborghini, the orange one, FFF Racing Team Huracan GT3. And the strategies again will come into play when the pit stop window opens. So there has been a drive-through cleared on the number 6, which I've just noted on the screen. So we do have the override. So if race director Al Locke decides to put in saying that a certain incident happened but it was not warranted, they will then put in an automatic cancellation. As Harry Spears just puts in a 1 minute 56.3. He's not that far behind Josh Martin, probably about 3 to 4 car lengths as they go through the Haag. And then through into the Mercedes arena. There's Tobin Lee, and he's really closed on the back bumper of Darren King. And you can just see how bright that livery is on that Porsche, but it looks really, really nice. A bit of carbon black and plenty of purple there alongside.
So he's really hustling it, is Tobin Lee, as he used the Mercedes last time at Monza. So the battle for lead still quite clearly on. 0.423 seconds between the top two as they come through the Schumacher S's down towards Kumo. As the good thing is that Tobin Lee, what he's using here is that Darren King is his marker. He'll see where Darren King is braking, look to exploit that opportunity as Yaroslav Honzik now rounds out the top 10 and is moving up. We're on the rear bumper cam of Alex Toth-Jones. Currently P12 and is just behind Freddie Hunt by about 1.3 seconds. There's Max Coates, who's had a couple of positional drops. He was around about the sort of like the top 15, but he's now P19. There's Andy Tucker in a very slightly battle-scarred Audi at the front end and looks to be the right-hand side. He's still running in P20 at the moment. Gap still being quite equidistant between Darren King and Tobin Lee, but Tobin Lee looks to be a bit more confident in the braking zone in the 55 Porsche. So it's going to be Mercedes versus Porsche, Weissach versus Affalterbach, and that is the correct German pronunciation, hence the German introduction earlier on this afternoon. And Tobin Lee looking to hopefully make it the 7th different winner from 7 different races. I haven't really mentioned that because Max Spooner admitted in the preview show, the Cinetic preview show yesterday, he said, I'm going to call it, it's going to be 8 from 8. Well, we've still got 43 minutes of this race still to go, Max, and anything's possible. So Darren King is now about 2.5 tenths ahead of Tobin Lee as they go through into the Schumacher S's again. As Lee looks to have a really good run of momentum. He's in the slipstream going into Kumo on Darren King. There's Bobby Trundley now P7, 7 seconds behind John Munro. He needs to make a bit of a resurgence. So 15 minutes before the end of the race, we will open up the voting for the DAF driver of the day. And you will have until 5 minutes before the race actually ends, as we now go on board with Tobin Lee himself. And he's using around 3.25 litres of... as it's side by side between the leaders. Oh, crikey. Tobin Lee has really made it happen, and he's slipstreaming past Darren King on the approach into the first corner, into the Haug hack, and Tobin Lee with 42 minutes and 27 seconds to go gets the measure of Darren King, but does he? Through the Haug hack they come, and Tobin Lee through turn 2 gets the move done. It's easy to start, get your way past the leader. It's another thing to defend altogether. So a nice move there from Tobin Lee. He was biding his time. So 2 minutes to go into the pit stop window opens. Top 10 at the minute. Tobin Lee now leads ahead of Darren King. Ross McGregor, Josh Martin, Harry Spears, John Munro, Bobby Trundley, Rashid Kazim, Taylor Lane and Yaroslav Honzik. That is the top 10 at the moment. There is Darren King. Well, we're looking from the virtual cockpit inside view on the Mercedes. As we go into the cockpit. Now let's have a look at the replay here. Now this is between Max Spooner, Ben Warren, and also another, that was a Bentley. So Ben Warren not having a good run there as Max Spooner loses the back end of the Audi ever so slightly there, having switched from the Mercedes last time out at Suzuka, and that is with David Christie. So David Christie was the Bentley behind. We're now on with John Munro going through Advan at around 225 kilometres an hour as he goes into the NGK chicane. John running in P6 at the moment. As Jaroslav Honzik, okay, Jardier, now goes up to P9. As we now look from Josh Spencer's roofline on the Audi. The number 4 is currently running in P26. There's Rashid Kazim and he's side by side. That is Jaroslav Honzik. Jardier goes up the inside of Kazim. 4P8 into turn 1. And now the pit stop window now opens. And we've had Christie is now going to have a drive through for contact with Warren through turn 1. So David Christie now has a drive through. 2nd and 3 respective races. Thank you very much to Al Locke, our race director, for giving me that information. So the pit stop window clock is ticking away, 19 minutes and 33 seconds. And it will be dependent on who will blink first. Now we've still got 27 drivers out of the 31 that entered. As Rashid Kazim is down in P9 and he's got Taylor Lane in the Bentley, the number 32 Bentley, just behind. So this is the battle for P8 at the minute. Any driver that gets a drive-through penalty will have 3 laps to serve it. Freddie Hunt is now up into P11. Oh, bit of an off-track excursion for Taylor Lane, going through into the Michael Schumacher S's. So the fiercely forward Bentley goes tank slapping through the Schumacher S's and ends up running through the gravel. Real shame because he was catching Rashid Kazim there for P9. And as much as we have still over 38 minutes of this left to right run, we will have still plenty, I think, plenty more action still to come. We saw plenty of it at Monza as Harry Spears is looking to get past one of the McLarens there. There's a back marker. That looks to be... Oh, now that's really, really compromised another couple of drivers there, which might have been... John Munro is one of them. There was an Audi there too, and the bright green Audi. So that won't be a drive. So that won't be Bobby Trunley because he's a bit further up the road, I believe, or not too far behind. Max Spooner battling with David Christie, who's yet to serve his drive-through penalty. Aidan Bro and Freddie Hunt have now pitted. With just under 3 minutes of the pit stop window completed here at the Nürburgring Grand Prix Circuit. There's Luke Pound in the 99 Aston Martin, looking a bit battle-scarred. He was one of the cars that ended up going off at turn 1 on the run to the first corner. So a minimum of 30-second pit stop time that the drivers have to serve in this race, otherwise they get 130 seconds added to their complete race time. So David Christie will have to very shortly in the next lap or two pit to service drive-through, and then I would believe that his pit stop has to be done separately. So he will have to make a trip through the pits twice. So Aidan Bro now drops to P16 through the initial phase of his pit stop at the minute. So drivers will need to stay in first gear as Tobin Lee and Darren King are really battling tooth and nail for the lead as they are heading down to the first corner. Line astern, it's King ahead of Lee. And Lee goes towards the outside of the corner to try and make the switchback on Darren King if he runs wide through the first corner. But King really does get the traction coming out, as does Tobin Lee. Running the back bumper of the Mercedes going through turn 2. All this is getting very close through the Mercedes arena. King getting ultra defensive very, very quickly as Tobin Lee sends it towards around the outside of turn 3 into turn 4. Now the run down to 5 and 6, and Tobin Lee loses a little bit of ground, having got a bit wide coming out of corner 4. But he closes up in the braking zone through turn 5 at the left-hander, down the dip, down into Ford at 6. And this is where it's really going to be telling, because between these two, as Ross McGregor and John Munro have now pitted, as is Freddie Hunt, and Freddie is down in the pits. Now, has he taken any damage? Because his pit stop looks to be taking a little bit longer than anticipated, but he's down in P23. As the pit stops happen, everything will change. As Tobin Lee really trying to keep pace with Darren King. And in many respects, this is a great battle that we're seeing. And it's only just started. When it starts imploding between the pair of them, imagine if we have a lot more people involved and embroiled in this battle. So just over 15 minutes of the pit stop window being open remains, and over 35 minutes of the race left to go here at Texaco Round 7 at the Nürburgring. There we have Freddie down in the Team BRIT workshop down in Dunsfold. Been running as high as P9, P11 through the first stage of the race before his mandatory pit stop. So looking very, very well planted in the Audi is Freddie. A Texaco ambassador. And he joined us back at Suzuka and then raced again at Monza as he goes a bit wide. Oh, coming out of the Schumacher S's. Cold tyres are definitely very much a contention that you need to battle with when you come out of the pit stop. As Bradley Brockies in the number 89 Mercedes AMG GT3 also pits. As we've got a good battle between Ross McGregor and Grant Lyman. Up the inside goes the Scots in the 24 Simply Race at Sunshore Bentley Continental GT3. And that was through Advan that he went up the inside and makes the move stick. And as it looks like, I think Grant Lyman has just gone, has he gone into the pits? He has indeed. So Grant Lyman now opts to pit, or was that Luke Pound, I believe? Luke Pound's gone in, Grant Lyman's gone in. So those two Aston Martins, the 99 and the 240 respectively, have pitted. And the gap now between Darren King and Tobin Lee has extended to just over 5.5 tenths of a second, 0.586. Josh Martin trying to close up. So Tobin Lee definitely doing a good job in the 911 Porsche, and number 55. There's Josh Martin going stealth black once again, running under the Thrustmaster Esports team. Bobby Trunley and Jaroslav Honzik round out the top 6 drivers, and that is comprised of two Bentleys. No, sorry, not two Bentleys. Two Mercedes, a Porsche, a Bentley, and an Audi, and a Lamborghini. With Jaroslav Honzik being one of two drivers, along with Dean Robertson. Bowman, alongside with Tobin Lee, has also decided to go for the Porsche, as Tobin Lee and Harry Spears have both now entered the pits. As Darren King gets past, I think that's Dean Robertson from Team BRIT, who's the number 1 mechanic. Very calm and composed driving from Darren King here at the moment. And the gap is now extending, is now onto lap number 15 here at the Nürburgring. There's Dale Bowman in the other Porsche. A little bit battle scarred as well as the number 21 from Open Road Racing. And we've got a stop go 30 for Grant Lyman for speeding in pit lane. Thank you to our lot for that bit of a heads up. Ben Warren has also pitted. So 27 out of the 31 drivers have decided to take part in this race. As now Jaroslav Honzik pits from P6. There's John Monroe in the 25 Bentley. And also you can see who is a pro, who is a silver, who is an AM by the designation on the left-hand side of your screen. So Sandro Ballesteros, one of the AM drivers, that's indicated by the red numbers on the left-hand side of your screen. As Freddie Hunt is now got Tobin Lee in the 55 Porsche, just behind. So Tobin looking to make some ground on Darren King to try and close up the gap. to react when Darren actually pits from the lead, and there is just over half of the pit stop window still remaining. So the white will be the pro drivers, so Darren King, Josh Martin. The dark grey will be the silver drivers, the likes of Rashid Kazim, Taylor Lane, Alex Toth-Jones, who now round out the top 6 with a quartet of Bentleys being led by Josh Martin in second position, as Darren King is now pitted from the lead of the race. There's Bobby Trunley now inheriting P2 on the road at the minute, as we now hit the halfway point of Texaco round 7 here at the Nürburgring. Halfway still to go in the pit stop window, which will close with 20 minutes on the clock remaining. So now Martin inherits the lead from Darren King, as now Tobin Lee will now try and put in a few hot laps to try and close the gap on the leader in the form of Darren King from Team Fordzilla. But actually at the moment, Darren King's still in the pits. Josh Martin is yet to pit. Bobby Trunley is yet to pit. There's Max Coates up into P11. Make that P12 as he's behind Andy Tucker in the 67 Audi. The 240 pit stop speeding in the pit lane has been cleared, so Grant Lyman has had a little bit of a jail out of free card getting there, I think. But I will be informed if there have been any changes for any particular reason. But that will probably be added post-race. Sandro Ballesteros has pitted. Lyman has now served the penalty, so he served it in the pit. So well done by Grant Lyman. That now unleashes him a little bit, as we have Josh Martin leading on lap number 17. On board with the rear view camera of John Monroe. There's Yaroslav Honzik, aka Jardier, in the Orange One FFF Racing Team Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. Our cash pole position winner. I'm getting some messages from race control at the moment. Penalty cleared means that they have taken it, so I really do appreciate that clarification. 8 minutes and 15 to go left on the pit stop window open, and I will find out when we hit 20 minutes to go who has and who hasn't served their penalty. And if they haven't served it, their pit stop, we will be informed. So we'll find out who... Getting really sordid messages sent now by Al. Stop it. Stop it. I'm trying to compose myself and be a professional. So I'm going to have to keep my eyes on what's happening. I'm not even mentioning the word that he's just put in the chat with me and him. Stop it, you two. Mike Yow and Al Locke. Just behave yourselves, come on. So Taylor Lane has pitted from P5, one of the silver drivers. There's Darren King, now in what is effectively, I think, 14th position, showing as 12 on the screen, one of the pro drivers. There's John Monroe, and unfortunately Ben Warren will no longer be taking any part in the race for the remainder. Unfortunately, his game actually decided to have a issue when he crashed when he was in the pits, so he's had a disconnect. That's a real shame for Ben Warren. But had a really good run last time out at Monza, where he finished in P7, I believe. Just having a look at my results. Yep, 7th place for Ben Warren. He was running in the Mercedes last time. There's John Monroe. Is trying to get past an Audi, which I believe might be Freddie Hunt in the Audi R8. Max Coates has pitted. Daniel Hyde has pitted. Dave Bowman has pitted as well. So as has Alex Toth-Jones, and Alex has pitted from P3. We have 6 minutes and 10 seconds still to go. As John Monroe gets a bit sideways coming out of the NGK chicane there. Max Spooner is also another driver that has yet to pit.
So Max Spooner, having moved from the Aston Suzuka to the Mercedes last time out at Monza, has gone with the trusty Audi R8. And that is, I think that's a Bentley that's trying to get past around the outside, and that's David Christie. And that's through turn 4. So David Christie unlaps himself from Max Spooner, and David is running currently in P19. I'm wondering whether he should have stuck with the BMW, like he said in the preview show, the Cinetic preview show last night. Tobin Lee is now coming up to the pair of them, so he's right behind Max Spooner. So Tobin will be on fresher tyres. Max Spooner, I think, hasn't yet to pit, but he's going to be really, really careful. He goes wide, runs to the gravel, and keeps out of the way of Tobin Lee, and then rejoins safely. So Tobin, running under the Lazarus Esports banner, the Porsche 911 GT3R. Now he's got to get past. He's flashing lights at David Christie to get past, which David duly obliges. Goes through into turn 10, and then the right at 11, before heading all the way down to Advan, which is turn 12. He's 5.8 seconds behind Max Spooner in terms of position. So Bobby Trundle has yet to pit, Rashid Kazim is yet to pit, Max Spooner is yet to pit, and you can see that by the number 1 that is showing on the left-hand side of your screen. Andy Tucker's now in the pits. We're now on to lap number 19 of this race. 4 minutes to go on the pit stop window. Anthony Hobbs has unfortunately retired as well. In the other McLaren, Sandro Ballesteros running out the top 20. So when Trundy and Kazim pit from first and second respectively, I've seen that Darren King is down in 10th position at the moment, so that'll put him to P8. So Ross McGregor will inherit the lead ahead of Tobin Lee. John Monroe will be third when Max Spooner pits. Josh Martin and Jaroslav Honzik will round out the top 5. So so first, second, fifth have yet to pit, and they've got 3 minutes and 23 seconds to do so. As here is Ross McGregor. There's Taylor Lane, now in P12 behind Aidan Bro from Stoke-on-Trent, who has made the recovery from 26th to 11th position. So that's a gain of 15 places after the first lap carambolage into turn 1. So some good work there from Taylor Lane as he's coming down towards turn 5, the left-hander. Brake from around 100 metres or so from 4th gear, just over 200 k's, down to third at around 145 kilometres per hour. Braking down again to second, 100 kph on the apex of Ford. Now the run down to Dunlop at turn 7, from around 215, 220 kph in 5th gear down to second. Just under 100 kph on the speedo will be indicated. He'll then go and accelerate out of the corner, take as much runoff as possible without exceeding track limits, and goes very, very deep into the first part of the Schumacher S's at turn 8 at 4th gear, 180, 185 kilometres an hour, pushing nearly 200 on the exit of turn 9. And he's now come through into turn 11 in the number 32 Bentley. So just under 2 minutes remain on the pit stop window. So Max Spooner now is in the pits. Trundy and Kazim yet to do so. They have got a minute and a half to do so. And they've just started another lap, I believe. So just by looking at on the left-hand side, you can see on the indicator as the green lights go up on the left-hand side of the marks being represented here, you will see how much they have moved forward. So Max Spooner will stay pretty much nose clean through this. Tobin Lee still rounding out the top 4 as he goes through the Schumacher S's. So Kazim now coming through the NGK chicane and now comes into the pits. So Kazim and Trundley now in the pits. That's really good because now this unlocks Ross McGregor. And Ross McGregor's coming through Advan. He's now going to come through the NGK chicane. The Scot in the number 24, Simply Race Sunshaw Bentley Continental GT3 with just over 20.5 minutes to go will inherit the lead at the Nürburgring. And looks to have David Christie just up ahead, I believe, in the number 9 Bentley, who's running in P16. So Ross McGregor now inherits the lead with just over 20 minutes. 2/3 down, 1 to go. And Tobin Lee has got a little bit of a mountain to climb, and it's normally going to be round about an Eiffel mountain. As Kazim still serves the pit stop, as the window is now closed with 19 minutes and 47 to go on the clock. Tobin Lee trying to hustle the black and bright purple Porsche 911 with a number 55 ablaze on its bonnet and also side panels. So Trundley, I think, has come out of the pits, and has he got the lead back? I'm just going to wait for the timing to reset. So I would think that Trundley and Kazim will be probably in 3rd and 4th respectively. So Ross McGregor has the lead in the 24 Bentley. Tobin Lee in 2nd, Bobby Trundley in 3rd, Rashid Kazim 4th, John Munro in 5th. Okay, just under 4 minutes to go until we open the DAF Driver of the Day nominations here at Texaco Round 7. So please send in your emails to @eTeam BRIT @teambrit.co.uk. So please feel free to do so. And we've had a drive-through for Freddie Hunt, unfortunately, for putting Jaroslav Honzik into a spin. There's Max Coates rounding at the top 15, a better run this time around for the Yorkshireman, who was running in the Renault Sport UK Clio Cup for the last 2 seasons, was a title protagonist last year. But he is set to compete in the forthcoming Mini Challenge UK E-Series, which is due to be coming out, I think, late May, a 35-strong grid. There's Josh Martin trying to flash the lights at Andy Tucker in the 67 Audi, asking him to get out of the way, please. I need to get through. So please make sure that you put your nominations for DAF Driver of the Day to eTeamBrit @teambrit.co.uk. So there is Andy Tucker with Josh Martin just behind. And there's Darren King running P8. We are on lap number 22 of this race with Ross McGregor. Tobin Lee now 2.665 seconds, so he has closed the gap on the Scot over the last few laps. So it was around 4.8 seconds. Now down to 2.665. John Munro is a further 11.774 seconds off of P2. So his best results so far. 2 top 10s in the minute for the Scottish Motor Racing Club Esports PC champion from their Spring Series. 9th, both at Suzuka and at Monza. So he's really come up trumps here at the Nürburgring. Taylor Lane now up into P11. With 16 minutes and 44 seconds to go, it is Ross McGregor leading 3.14 seconds ahead of Tobin Lee. John Munro rounds out the top 3, which is provisionally the Simply Race podium at the moment. Josh Martin, Jaroslav Honzik, Harry Spears, Bobby Trunny, Darren King, Rashid Kazim and Aidan Bro round out the top 10. And McGregor is pulling out a little bit of a lead. He's actually extended it by just over 0.6 of a second from Tobin Lee thus far. There's Alex Toth-Jones, our winner from round 2 at Spa-Francorchamps. And he's also been in the top 10 previously as well at round 3 at the Hungaroring, that he placed 8th, where Ben Warren took the round 3 victory. as we head into just under 16 minutes remaining. There's Daniel Hyde. Looks to be his best result of the Summer Series so far, up in P18 in the number 3 Cadan Casual Apex. There is Freddie Hunt at the minute in the Audi, and he's got a Bentley just behind. Trying to keep an eye on which car that is. So Freddie running in P20 at the moment, and that is the number 8 of Aidan Bro, who's just up ahead of Freddie Hunt. 45 minutes down, 15 to go, and the streak is looking ominous, which is why I've only mentioned it a couple of times in this broadcast so far. But the battle could really rage on in the last few moments, as we saw back at Monza between Darren King and Josh Martin for the race 6 victory. This time it looks to be between Ross McGregor and Tobin Lee. John Munro doing a great job in P3 at the minute. And the top 3 will end up on the Simply Race podium. You have just over 9 minutes to go to put in your nominations for the DAF Driver of the Day. If we don't have any, if we have a joint amount of votes, or we have no votes at all, then the casting vote goes to me as the official commentator. But I might need a little bit of a helping hand by 2 people, so at least it's not completely one-sided. So Tobin Lee has closed the gap down again to Ross McGregor to about 2.6 seconds with 13. Right, okay, we've got our first nomination, and for very good reason too. So we've had our first nomination. And I have to agree, it's for very good reason. I definitely agree with that concurrently. I'm not going to reveal anything until we get our top 3 for the Texaco Hot Lap, who will get a choice of a cap, a polo shirt or a t-shirt from the James Hunt official collection, and also some hospitality passes for a future Team BRIT race where they can come trackside and meet the team and visit and cheer us on through our relevant racing endeavours. And also the DAF Driver of the Day award, where DAF Trucks UK have decided to give away a goodie bag, including DAF merchandise and collectibles. There's Tobin Lee. He's now got the gap down to 2 seconds. Oh, it's getting very, very exciting at the front of the field. Now, considering that we had this sort of happen between Darren King and also Josh Martin at Monza. Ross is responding though. He's got it up to about a 10th further away from Tobin Lee as Harry Spears is closing on a back marker who he's just managed to get past, and he's got Bobby Trundley chasing him down. There's Darren King with Rashid Kazim. So it's Mercedes versus Bentley in this battle for what is 8th position on the road. 12 minutes and 15 seconds still to go. Okay, we've had our second nomination for Driver of the Day. Please email us at eteambrit@teambrit.co.uk. So we're now with Josh Martin in the number 13 Thrustmaster Esports Bentley Continental GT3. P2 at Suzuka a couple of weeks ago, won Monza last time out at Texaco round 6, and is trying to chase down John Munro. The gap now between the 2 Bentleys, 2.3 seconds with 11.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Jaroslav Honzik, our Kershaw pole position award winner, now up into P5 in the number 20 Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo. He's 7.3 seconds behind Martin. As we now go on board on the right hand side of your screen with Josh Martin, and on the helicopter cam we have got John Munro in shot, and he is being closed down as Dean Robertson looks to have gone wide through what is turn 11. There's Josh Martin making some adjustments on the steering wheel as the wipers get put on inadvertently. There's Tobin Lee, and he's got the gap down to 1.4 seconds. Battle for the lead quite clearly on as we go into the final sixth in about 43 seconds. Okay, let's have a look at the replay here. So Andy Tucker goes full chat, and he goes sideways through the Schumacher S's and goes pirouetting. So Andy Tucker was fully committed. The back end started to step out, and the Audi driver compromised and goes pirouetting, but rejoins safely. So as there's the battle for what is third and fourth to Martin closing, and there's a Bentley in the middle. That could be David Christie. So Christie's going to have to get out of the way so Martin can capitalise and close on the back bumper of John Munro, which he does very, very expeditiously there through into turn 3. Now into the right at turn 4. Munro's now got a battle with a fellow Scot in equal machinery. I wonder what the conversation between Josh Martin and his race engineer is at right now. But Ross McGregor has got a Porsche breathing down the neck. And that is of Tobin Lee in the number 55 Lazarus Esports car. Darren King and Rashid Kazim locked in a stalemate over 8th position, but King has got the measure of the Bentley driver at the minute. Just over 9 minutes to go. We've got another nomination for driver of the day. 3 so far, need some more. Please send them to eTeam BRIT at teambrit.co.uk. We've got just around 4 minutes until that closes, and there will be a deciding casting vote that will come to me. So Tobin Lee really hustling the 911, and I'm wondering what the gap is between the Pro and the Silver driver. Pro leading the way, Silver in second. Oh, Tobin Lee, did he lose? Now, was there a little bit of lag there on the internet connection? I'm not too sure, but they're not too far apart. The best lap of Tobin Lee is a 1 minute 54.8. A 1 minute 55.2 from Ross McGregor, so he's kept it quite consistent. So Tobin Lee, I think if we've got top 3 in the sub 1 minute 55 second barrier, we will have our top 3 for the Texaco hot lap decided. So the gap now really, really closing quite considerably here on the penultimate round, Texaco round 7 here at the Nürburgring for the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. 8 minutes to go. And Ross McGregor now closing up on back markers, which are Luke Pound and Max Spooner. That's the battle for P13. So Spooner running as an AM driver, Luke Pound as a Silver. And they're heading down to Dunlop. So blue flags will wave in the direction of both Spooner and Pound to allow both McGregor. So nice spatial awareness, blue flags, so Pound gets out the way and allows both McGregor and Tobin Lee to come through. Now they're going to turn 11, and again the lights flashing ablaze on the front of the 24 Bentley. Going into turn 10, now into the right at 11. So Max Spooner will get out of the way very, very shortly and very expediently. As well, he didn't really get past that particular time, but look at the battle for third. Oh, we could have 2 really big scraps at the end of this race. So Munro versus Martin in Bentley Continental GT3 machinery. So it's Scotland versus Scotland. And there is a Scot leading the way. So still plenty of this race still to go, and it's still undecided. There is that air of anticipation on who is going to win this race, and at the way it is going, it is very much even Stevens with a particular record that was set back in 2012. But Ross McGregor doing a great job. He looks to have pulled a gap on Tobin Lee for the minute, but Tobin Lee really has to build up over the next couple of laps. I mean, they're running at 1 minute 48 at the minute, or possibly a little bit more than that, 1 minute 54, so they've probably got about 3 or 4 laps still left to go of this race. So McGregor and Tobin Lee come through the Ford curve. Now the short run down to Dunlop. And that is Bradley Brockes coming through. And we've had... Oh, now we have a majority decision at the minute for the driver of the day. There is still 40 seconds left, and I think it's been decided. Gregor and Tobin Lee come through the fourth. So we've got just 5.5 minutes remaining. Still to go of this race, and it is not over between first and second, third and fourth, eighth and ninth. Max Coates has served a drive-through as well, I believe. Down in P15, or he's got to serve a drive-through for some particular reason. Could it be exceeding track limits? Not too sure. There's Sandro Ballesteros, just 13, and he's a great little young man, great little character, a great karter as well in his own way. There's Harry Spears from Team Fordzilla, as Martin closing on Monroe. And okay, right, that is it. Driver of the Day nominations are out. That is it. That is over. We've had our final one come through. Oh, and we've got a tie. We've got a tie, so it comes to a casting vote. So, very interesting. That is it. That is it. Final. That is it. Driver of the Day is now decided. The votes are in. That is it. We've had more than last time. Big thank you for those that have done so. So, Josh Martin right on the back bumper of John Monroe in the closing stages. Just over 4.25 minutes left to go. Ross McGregor and Tobin Lee battling over the lead for Texaco round 7 and the eventual victory. Yellow flag is out on the circuit. John Monroe is keeping Josh Martin at bay for P3. Honsick in 5th. Spears, Trundley, King, Bro, Lane. That's your top 10. As Monroe and Martin go through Ford Curve. Turn 6, as Josh Martin uses as much as he can to get a run down into Dunlop. He's too far away to try and put a late brake manoeuvre on his fellow Scottish compatriot in equal machinery, but Monroe hanging on. And the lights are ablaze on the number 13 Thrustmaster Esports Bentley Continental GT3. Yep, and thank you to Al Locke for confirming what I thought it might have been the case, that Max Coates drive through for track limits. So 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go. Oh, it's getting tentative. It's getting really tentative for P3 at the minute. As Ross McGregor crosses the start-finish line with 3 minutes to go on the clock. So it'll be this and I think another lap to go, and we will decide our 7th winner here in the eTeam BRIT Summer Series for Texaco round 7. As Martin still trying to keep with Monroe, but Monroe's got a bit of advantage, about 5 car lengths, going down into the Haughack as Martin brakes later than Monroe going into the first corner. Gap between first and second is just over a second between Ross McGregor and Tobin Lee. John Monroe P3, but barely at the minute with 2 minutes and 12 seconds to go on the clock. Josh Martin really on the back bumper of the number 25 Bentley as they are now going down towards turns 5 and 6. Monroe's done a really good defensive job all the way through the race so far. Big thank you to Phil Kinch, who said that it's been a fantastic race so far. Really, really enjoyed it. Thank you, Phil, for your support. So just over 90 seconds remaining. And we are on lap number 30. Leaders now getting a little bit closer. Tobin Lee getting closer. I think he's closed the gap by 0.4 of a second. Martin on the back bumper of Monroe for P3. Heading down into Kumo. And Martin trying to get a better run coming out of the corner, down into the right-hander at turn 11. Monroe has still got the measure as round through the NGK chicane, now through Coca-Cola Curve. Comes the 2 leaders. Tobin Lee closing on Ross McGregor as Martin on the back bumper of Monroe through Advan, down into the NGK chicane for what's going to be the penultimate time as they cross the line with just over a minute remaining. This will be the final lap of the race as more curve is being taken by Martin through the NGK chicane. 2 wheels on the grass, a little bit wide through the Coca-Cola curve on Monroe, who's going to get the drag coming out of the final corner. Tobin Lee trying to attack Ross McGregor again for the lead of the race as we go into the last lap. This is absolutely what we wanted, a grandstand finale. We're getting it for not just the lead and the victory, we're getting it for the final step on the Simply Race podium. So now, as you can see, we're going to split to both battles at the same time. Martin on the back bumper of Monroe, Lee on the back bumper of McGregor for P3 and the victory. 27 seconds on the clock. It is still nail-bitingly close between the two battles. And who is going to come out on top? The run down to Dunlop between the two leaders as Martin looks towards the outside of Dunlop, but can't get through on McGregor. He closes up on the braking zone. Meanwhile, through turn 6 comes Monroe and Martin. Down towards the Michael Schumacher Estes for what is going to be the final time here. McGregor still leads ahead of Tobin Lee. Tobin Lee might get the run if he gets the slipstream through the Schumacher Estes, going down towards Kumo at turn 10. Tobin Lee is fast running out of time, but the battle for third still wages on through the Schumacher Esses. Monroe still ahead of Martin. So who's it going to be for the lead of the race coming through Advan for what is going to be the final time of this race? It is still Ross McGregor from Tobin Lee by just over 0.3 of a second. John Monroe still keeping Josh Martin at bay. They come through the NGK chicane. Tobin Lee, could he go for a last dash run to the finish? It could be a side-by-side, it could be a drag race to the line. They come out of the Coca-Cola curve for the final time. Tobin Lee's going to try and go for it. Is he going to get it? It's going to be a run to the line. It's going to be 7 from 7 as McGregor takes it. McGregor takes it. 7 from 7 in the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. And John Monroe with an absolutely defensive masterclass. Could he hold off Josh Martin for the lead? He goes ultra defensive, running wide, coming out of the final corner. And John Monroe is behind Tobin Lee on the Simply Race podium here at the Nürburgring. Josh Martin makes it another top 5 finish as Jaroslav Honzik Jardier takes P5. Harry Spears will come across the line in P6. The debut for this Team Fordzilla driver. He will be ahead of Darren King. So what a run by the number 11 in the Mercedes-AMG GT3. So we now have the confirmed results of the race. Ross McGregor makes it 7 out of 7 here at the Nürburgring. Congratulations to the Simply Race Anshore driver in the number 24 Bentley Continental GT3. Rounding out the top 3 is John Monroe, behind Tobin Lee from Lazarus Esports. That makes up your Simply Race podium here at Texaco Round 7 at the Nürburgring for the eTeam BRIT Summer Series. Josh Martin and Jaroslav Honzik, aka Jardier, ran out the top 5. Harry Spears, Bobby Trunley, Darren King, Aidan Broad and Taylor Lane round out the top 10. Alex Toth-Jones, Luke Pound, Max Spooner, David Christie and Andy Tucker round out the top 15 ahead of Max Coates, Freddie Hunt, Daniel Hyde, Sandro Ballesteros, Grant Lyman, Dave Bowman, Dean Robertson, Bradley Brockies, and also Josh Spencer, who rounds out the top 24. Now we need to find out who is going to be the top 3 from the Texaco Hot Lap, because shortly after that I will announce who will be the DAF driver of the day. So hopefully very shortly we'll have those side of things. So bear with me. Trying to find the information if we can. I agree, Al Locke. What a race. Okay, let's just have a look. Okay. So I've got the top 15, and I take it those would be for our laps of the race. I'm just having a look here. There's a few drivers that got into the 154s. Okay, the best lap time is a 1 minute 54.807 from our runner-up, Tobin Lee.
So he is the fastest driver out of this race. Well done to him. And I'm going to have a look a little bit further down. Oh, and it's very, very close indeed. Very, very close indeed. So we have got a couple of drivers in. The second place driver is going to be Jaroslav Honzik with a 1 minute 54.879. And for the second race in succession, the third place driver is Darren King from Team Fordzilla. That is your Texaco Hot Lap top 3. Now, the driver of the day, the DAF Trucks UK driver of the day. It is very, very close, but it comes down to the casting vote. The DAF driver of the day. Congratulations to Bradley Brockies. First ever race with us. Tobin Lee was a close second, but based on Bradley's first race on Assetto Corsa Competizione, he is our driver of the day, thanks to DAF Trucks UK. So a big thank you to them. Hopefully we'll get the top 3 for the Simply Race podium very, very shortly. And it is 7 from 7 here at the Nürburgring. We have equalled the record of successive race winners thanks to Ross McGregor.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Now, that was a bit of enticing battle between you and Tobin Lee. He closed up on you on the... I think he got past you earlier on in the race and then tried to do it again in the second phase. But you made it stick. You got ahead. You kept going, and you won it. Well done, mate. How do you feel?
Thanks very much. It feels pretty good because there's so many like real life drivers and so many fast sim racers as well. But yeah, the start of the race, I think it was lap 3 or 4. I made a massive mistake coming at the fast chicane. Almost binned it in the barriers. So I sat behind the first and second, so I was just in third place, but I was about 3 seconds behind. Wasn't really making an impression on them. But when it came to midway through the race, I was kind of closing the gap because they were fighting out. I decided to jump into the pits and try and do the undercut, and somehow it worked, so pretty happy with that.
Well, you're the 7th respective person that wins an eTeam BRIT t-shirt, so please make sure that you let Max Spooner know your address and we'll get that out to you in the post. But well done. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing you at the Nürburgring next week. Sorry, not Nürburgring, Laguna Seca.
Cheers.
No problem. Okay, so Ross McGregor becomes our seventh different winner. Let's see if we can get another driver into the broadcast booth here at the Nürburgring, virtually speaking. Let's see if we can get our second place driver, Lazarus Esports, Tobin Lee. Well, you did say to me on Discord when we messaged each other earlier that you were going for the Porsche, and it clearly worked, young man.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. That was properly intense, though, wasn't it? Like, I hope that came across on the stream because I'm like sweating buckets. I'm still on my cooldown. But that was awesome racing. I can't believe, though, that Ross managed to get such a large undercut. I had no idea that he was even in the fight. And then suddenly he's like way ahead. And I have to really pull out some pace to get back with him. And then the last lap was just, you couldn't write it. It was so close. So, yeah, awesome.
And also, you're our fastest driver during the race to get the opportunity to select a cap, polo shirt or T-shirt from the James Hunt collection, as well as some hospitality passes for Team BRIT's race of your choice. So you can come and support the team and cheer them on.
Wow.
That's good, isn't it?
That is awesome. I didn't realise. That's awesome. But yeah, cheers, guys.
No problem. Well, look forward to seeing you at Laguna Seca next week. And let's see if you can make it 8 from 8, can we?
Yeah, we'll see. Cheers,
Good
guys.
man. No problem, Tobin.
Ciao.
It was
Okay, let's see if we can speak to John Monroe. Oh, that was a bit of a masterclass defensive work on fellow Scot Josh Martin for the last few laps. John, I think you were sweating buckets after that, weren't you?
Absolutely, yeah. I was sweating buckets during it, Alex. Trust me. No, it was a great fun race. We obviously got the undercut on Josh early on after getting spun out towards the start, so we thought we had to go a bit aggressive on the strategy. But yeah, it seemed to work, and obviously Josh was very respectful, very clean, and tried to make it difficult for me, but I managed to just hold my line and hold the podium.
Oh, congratulations, mate. Who knows? Let's see if you stick with the Bentley and go for it at Laguna Seca in just a week's time.
Yeah, fingers crossed. It should be good. I'm still hoping to have a race where nothing goes wrong, because in the first race I had the pit stop issue, the one at Monza there, we got disconnected, and then that race we got spun out. So I'm still waiting to have a race where nothing goes wrong. But obviously the main thing about today was that the pace was a lot better. I think myself and Ross McGregor were definitely up there with the likes of King and Josh Martin, who were a lot quicker than us before. So I think we're going to be at least in the mix from now on, and it's just a case of seeing how we go at Laguna. Hopefully I can have a clean race and maybe fight for a win.
Okay, no problem at all. All the very best of luck for next week, John. Thank you very much for your time, mate. Really
Thanks,
appreciate
guys.
it.
Cheers.
Okay, we're going to get another driver in the booth, hopefully very shortly. Let's see if we can speak to Taylor Lane. Hello, Taylor. How are you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks, yourself.
Not too bad. So how did you enjoy your first run in the Summer Series with us here at eTeam BRIT?
It was great fun. I'm sweating now. I wasn't expecting it to be so intense.
Yeah. So I think you've definitely got bitten by the Assetto Corsa Competizione bug. So will we see you at Laguna Seca next week?
Yeah, I'll definitely be there for the next race.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, well, thank you very much, Taylor. I know that if we can, we'll try and speak to another one of the Team BRIT drivers very shortly. Hopefully, we'll try and get Bobby Trunley in the booth very shortly. But Max Spooner, better race for you in the Audi this time, Max. Well done.
I hope you caught that last bit on the stream, because I was battling with Luke Pound for I think about 10 laps, wheel to wheel. I think 2 laps from the end, as we were overtaking one of the back markers, he got alongside me. And I think for about half a lap we were we were like that. But no, that was a. I think I lucked into that one. There was a bit of argy-bargy at the start, and I came out of it unscathed. And I think at one point I was running up near sort of 10th, 11th, and thinking, yeah, I don't really belong up here, and quickly fell back down. But even then, to bring it home in the top half of the grid, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, we get a really, really good run for next week at Laguna Seca for the Summer Series finale before we really get our elbows out for the GT3 Challenge and the Cinetic BMW Series.
Yeah, I was going to say Laguna Seca is going to be an interesting one because it's a much smaller circuit. So I expect the racing to be closer. It's going to be more compact, that's for sure. And yeah, as you say, this is leading up to what's going to be a fantastic start to the GT Challenge.
Mm-hmm. Well, have a good weekend, Max. I'm sure that I'll be speaking to you quite a lot over the coming weeks and everything else with our discussions with regards to the GT3 Challenge and the Cinetic BMW Series. Well done today, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Right. Okay. I think we're going to try and go to see if we can get Bobby Trundley here. Afternoon, Bobby.
Afternoon. That was fun.
That was a bit of a race, wasn't it?
Oh, wait, sorry. Someone moved me out.
Stop those wayward keys on your keyboard at home, Bobby. Come on.
That's not me. It's magical aliens.
It's definitely not me because I haven't got any control over it. But that was a really interesting race as well. You switched back to the Audi that you had at Suzuka. And it seemed to pay you dividends, but obviously there was quite a lot happening at the very first corner. Just give us a perspective from your side of things on what happened there, because I know that a few drivers weren't happy with what happened, and I know it's difficult trying to go into turn 1 for the first time.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had a brilliant start. I had a good start from 10th and managed to get my way up to 6th just by going through the middle, just putting a risk. It was a bit silly of me, but I just thought, you got to risk it for the biscuit, haven't you? Mm-hmm. And it kind of paid off. But I think further back, people weren't too happy with how the fact that someone hit someone and it made them go flying off into other cars. It's racing, isn't it? But you can't really say anything about that. And then obviously my incident with John was just everyone backed each other up, and I came in a little bit on the normal braking line and maybe a teeny bit out of brake, but it's racing.
Yeah, well, congratulations on another good finish. I know that you had a good recovery drive as well in the end. Still getting another top 10 finish, but good luck for next week at Laguna Seca for the Summer Series finale, Bobby. Thanks for talking to me.
Cheers. Thank you.
Well, 7 from 7. The streak continues. We equal Formula One's record from 2012. I hope you all have a great weekend. It's been very exhilarating here in the virtual commentary box here in Essex. But thank you for joining me, Alex Goldschmidt, the official Summer Series commentator. We will have more details to come in the coming days. We'll also have a preview show ahead of Texaco Round 8 next Thursday before we go into battle for one final time after the 8-week Summer Series. And don't forget, entries are now open for the eTeam BRIT GT3 Challenge and the Cinetic BMW Series. Everything you can see on the screen, we will give you further details on our social media in the coming days. Entries need to be in as soon as possible. It's £60 for the whole campaign, 8 weeks of racing for 6, and some great prizes on offer. An opportunity to have a Team BRIT Academy race day. For the GT3 Challenge, it's the M240 that Cinetic have recently helped us to acquire, and it's part of the new Racing Academy fleet. And also for the Cinetic BMW Series, we're going to have a BMW 1 Series Team BRIT Academy Day. Thank you very much for joining us here on the Simply Race platforms, the Team BRIT platforms, the Let's Race platforms, and also on Twitch, Periscope, Facebook, and YouTube. This is me, Alex Goldschmidt, signing off. Until next week, I'll see you 5:30 BST next week, next Thursday, the penultimate day before our final round. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great weekend. See you for the finale.